Hey, we've got to talk about electrolytes because I fear we are reaching idiocracy levels of misuse of them.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
It's what they use to make Brondo.
Yeah, but why did they use them to make Brondo?
Because Brondo's got electrolytes.
First off, what are electrolytes and why do we need them? Electrolytes include sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and a few others that help our body function. What do they do? So sodium and potassium in particular are great for helping our muscles contract and relax. If you have ever had a Charlie horse, it is likely because you are dehydrated, because water is needed to move sodium and potassium across cell membranes so that they can signal our muscles to contract or relax. But it's usually not due to an electrolyte imbalance that we have those cramps, unless you are exercising very vigorously. How are we defining vigorous exercise? You have to be sweating buckets because we lose electrolytes through our sweat. And I don't mean we get a little glowy at the gym. I mean you are sweating to the point that you might hit dehydration, and that is where electrolytes can help because you are now replacing something that is being lost rapidly. But your typical day at the gym, or going for a hike, or you're just working out lightly, or you're just existing in your life, going to work, coming home, does not require electrolytes. Why is that? Well, it's because we get electrolytes in our food. And if you eat a diverse meal that has a variety of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and protein, you're getting your electrolytes. You don't need extra. I'll give you an example. The only time I have ever needed electrolytes in my life is when I went on a 75-mile bike ride in Las Vegas when the mean temperature was about 105 degrees. About 3/4 of the way through that bike ride, I felt like I was going to pass out, and someone handed me a Gatorade, and that Gatorade was the greatest thing I had ever drank in my entire life. And I'm a pretty active person. I work out 4 days a week for an hour each time. And when I'm not weightlifting, I am lifting my own body weight because I do aerial activities, which require a lot of intense muscle action. And I do not need electrolytes. But electrolytes are really popular right now. And the marketing is getting out of control. And there are so many on the market. Liquid IV comes to mind. There's also LMNT. These are products that are used by a very small subsection of population, professional athletes, but they have found a new market in the general populace. So now they're trying to convince people that they do need them. So my friend took photos of a free sample of LMNT that she got. So they make lots of claims like powering your workouts. Electrolytes can do that, but only if you have lost electrolytes and you're feeling weak, like I did with that 75-mile bike ride in 105-degree weather. They can definitely pep you up. Again, that Gatorade was the greatest thing I'd ever had. Support healthy fasting. I guess if you're starving yourself, maybe you might be low in electrolytes. Kickstart your day. No. An ultimate travel companion. So if you go abroad, you need more salt and potassium. They don't have those in other countries. But this was the thing that really set me off. So they say you need more salt than is recommended. And then they use science to back their claims. They're saying that we need 4,000 to 6,000 grams of sodium per day. And the current recommendations, by the way, are 2,300 grams of sodium per day for someone who does not have any health issues, particularly high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, you actually need around 1,200 milligrams. So they're claiming that this whole chart is saying that we need closer to 4,000 to 6,000 milligrams of sodium per day, and that the government is wrong than telling us that 2,300 milligrams is enough. Now, I don't like being shown out of context graphs, and they made the mistake of putting the citation for their graph on their packaging. So I went and looked this study up. First of all, it's from 2011. If you know anything about scientific studies, Anything that's older than 5 years is considered out of date. 10 years is geriatric in terms of scientific studies. So we're at 2011. And oh, what is this? Urinary sodium and potassium excretion. That's not about eating it. That's about peeing it out. This study concluded that if you are excreting between 4,000 and 6,000 milligrams, you are less likely to have a heart attack. Which makes sense. If you eat a lot of sodium but then get it out of your body, you're less likely to have a heart attack. It doesn't say eating the sodium to begin with prevents heart attacks. It just says if you are getting it out of your body, you're okay. If you are not getting it out of your body, so you are excreting less than the 4 to 6, that's a problem if you are eating 4 to 6. And if you are excreting more, 7, that means you're eating a lot of sodium. What are you doing? Don't do that. And just so you can see, this is the exact same graph that was on that packaging. But it's about peeing it out. It's not about eating it. I take my pettiness a step further, and I went and looked up a 2024 study. And this looked at predominantly low-income people. It was a larger cohort than the other study. I gave you a nice little highlight there. So those who exceeded the current dietary recommendations of 2,300 or 2.3 grams, 2,300 milligrams were more likely to die. Having higher than 2,300 milligrams of sodium can cause you to have a 10 to 30% larger risk of a cardiovascular event, heart attack, stroke. And just so you have a reference, LMNT has 1,000 milligrams or 1 gram of sodium per package. So in a day where you should be not over consuming 2,300, or if you have high blood pressure and you shouldn't be going over 1,200, this little beverage is giving you 1,000 milligrams. That is almost 50% of a healthy person's intake of sodium for the day and does not include any of your food, where you are also always getting sodium. Even if you don't salt your food, there's sodium in pretty much everything we eat. For cross-reference, Gatorade has about 280 for 20 milliliters, and Liquid IV has 500 milligrams. So even Liquid IV is going too high. You don't need electrolyte packets unless you are an athlete. Please stop drinking them. If you want to flavor your water, just get a regular water flavoring packet. There's plenty out there.